Tomasz Maciej Świątek is a Polish rower. He competed in the men's quadruple sculls event at the 1988 Summer Olympics, in which Poland won the B final to finish 7th overall. Early life and background. Iga Świątek was born on May 31, 2001 in Warsaw to Dorota and Tomasz Świątek. Her father is a former rower who competed in the men's quadruple sculls event at the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Her mother is an orthodontist. She has a sister Agata who is about 3 years older and is a student of dentistry at the Medical University of Lublin. Świątek's father wanted his daughters to become competitive athletes and preferred they take up an individual sport rather than a team sport to have better control of their chances of success. Agata initially started out as a swimmer, but switched to tennis after she had issues with swimming. Iga followed her sister into tennis because she wanted to beat her and also because she wanted to be more like her. Agata briefly competed on the ITF junior circuit in 2013 at about 15 years old, but stopped playing due to injury troubles. Iga trained at Mara Warsaw as a 14-year-old before later moving to Legia Warsaw. Junior career. Świątek reached a career-high ranking of number 5 as a junior. She began competing in ITF junior circuit events in 2015 and won back-to-back low-level Grade 4 titles in April and May at age 13. Before the end of the year, she moved up to Grade 2 events and finished runner-up in both singles and doubles at the Czech Junior Open. Świątek made her junior Grand Slam debut in 2016 at the French Open, reaching the quarterfinals in both singles and doubles. She followed this up with her best junior title to date at the Grade 1 Canadian Open Junior Championships, defeating Olga Danilovic in the final. Świątek had a strong first half of 2017. She won both the singles and doubles titles at the Grade 1 Traralgon Junior International. Although she lost her opening round match at the Australian Open, she partnered with compatriot Maja Kwiatkowska to make her first final in a Grand Slam event, finishing runner-up in doubles to the North American team of Bianca Andreescu and Carson Branstein. She then reached her first Grade A singles final at the Trofeo Bonfiglio, losing to Elena Rybakina. Her season came to an end after another quarter-final at the French Open, after which she had right ankle surgery that kept her out for 7 months. Despite only competing in 2 Grand Slam tournaments in 2018 and 3 singles events in total, Świątek finished her junior career with her best season. She returned to the junior tour at the French Open after a 1-year absence and reached the semi-finals in singles, losing to Kati McNally. She fared better in doubles, partnering with McNally to win her first junior Grand Slam title. They defeated the Japanese team of Yuki Nato and Nao Sato in the final. Świątek played only singles at Wimbledon. As an unseeded player due to her absence, she was drawn against top seed Whitney Osuigwe in the first round. After winning that match in 3 sets, she did not drop another set during the rest of the tournament and won the championship for her only junior Grand Slam singles title. She defeated Leonie Koeng in the final. Świątek then teamed up with the Slovenian Kaja Jovan to compete in the 2018 Summer Youth Olympics. They reached the final and defeated the Japanese team of Yuki Nato and Nao Sato. She then finished her junior career. Professional career. 2016-18, undefeated in 7 ITF finals. Świątek began competing on the ITF women's circuit in 2016 and played on the circuit through the end of 2018. She won all 7 ITF singles finals she reached, ranging from the first 4 at the $10,000 to $15,000 level to 1 at the $25,000 level, followed up by 2 at the $60,000 level. Her first 3 titles came at 15 years old. The 4th was in February 2018 in her first tournament back from a 7-month layoff due to injury. After a $25,000 title in April, Świątek moved up to higher-level ITF events later that month. Following her junior Wimbledon title in July, she skipped the Junior US Open to stay in Europe. During the 2 weeks of the US Open, she won back-to-back $60,000 titles at the NEC Ladies Open in Hungary and the Montreux Ladies Open in Switzerland. During the second event, she defeated top seed and world number 120 Mariana Duca-Marino. These were Świątek's last 2 ITF tournaments of the year. With these 2 titles, Świątek entered the top 200 for the first time at the age of 17, rising from number 298 to number 180 in those 2 weeks. 2019, first WTA final, top 50 debut. Despite never playing on the WTA Tour before 2019, Świątek was able to compete in only tour-level events throughout the year. After being unable to qualify at the Auckland Open, she qualified for her first WTA main draw at the Australian Open. She then defeated number 82 Anna Bogdan in 3 sets in her debut match to reach the second round. At her next 3 tournaments, she was also able to qualify at the Hungarian Ladies Open, but not either of the premier mandatory events in March. Świątek made her first WTA breakthrough at the Ladies Open Lugano in April. With her first direct acceptance into a main draw, she made her first WTA final. During the event, she upset number 3 seed Viktoria Kumov in the second round for her first top 50 victory. She ultimately finished runner-up to Polona Hercog in 3 sets. Moreover, a precise cross-court forehand drop shot she hit against Kristina Plakov in the semi-final was voted the 2019 WTA Shot of the Year. With the runner-up, she also made her debut in the top 100 while still 17 years old. Świątek closed out her clay court season with a 4th-round appearance at the French Open in her second major. She upset number 16 Wang Qiang in the second round for her first top 20 victory before losing to defending champion Simona Halep. Świątek could not repeat her French Open success at the remaining Grand Slam events of the year, losing her opening match at Wimbledon and in the second round at the US Open. Her best result in the second half of the season was a 3rd-round appearance at the Canadian Open. During the event, she upset number 18 Caroline Wozniacki before losing to number 2 Naomi Osaka. With this result, she entered the top 50 for the first time a week later. She missed the rest of the season after the US Open to undergo foot surgery and finished the year at number 61 in the world. 2020, French Open champion, top 20 debut. Świątek made her return to the WTA Tour at the Australian Open. She matched her best result at a Grand Slam tournament with another 4th-round appearance, this time highlighted by a victory over number 20, Donna Vekic. She defeated Vekic again at the Qatar Open. Her last match win before the WTA Tour was shut down for 6 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Świątek continued her Grand Slam success once the tour resumed. She reached the 3rd round at the US Open, losing to eventual runner-up Victoria Azarenka. Entering the rescheduled French Open in September, Świątek was ranked number 54 in the world. Nonetheless, she won the singles event for her maiden WTA title. During the tournament, she defeated 2019 runner-up and world number 19, Marketa Vondrousova, in the opening round. Her biggest upset was a victory in the 4th round over top seed and world number 2, Simona Halep, who was on a 17-match win streak and was also the heavy favorite to win the title. She only lost 3 games against Halep after winning just 1 game against her in the same round of the French Open the previous year. Świątek defeated world number 6, Sofia Kenin, in the final to become the first Polish player to win a Grand Slam singles title and the lowest-ranked French Open champion in the history of the WTA rankings. She also became the youngest singles champion at the tournament since Rafael Nadal in 2005 and the youngest women's singles winner since Monica Seles in 1992. She won the title without dropping a set or more than 5 games to any opponent, and the 28 games she lost in total were tied for the second fewest among French Open singles champions in the Open era, behind only the 20 games Steffi Graf lost in 1988. With the title, Świątek rose to number 17 in the world. She also played the doubles event, partnering with Nicole Melliger for the first time. The pair reached the semi-finals, and also did not drop a set until their last match. 2021, WTA 1000 title, French Open doubles final, world number 4. At the Australian Open, Świątek was seeded 15th and recorded wins over Arantxa Rus, Camila Giorgi, and Fiona Ferro. She reached the fourth round where she lost to Simona Halep, in 3 sets. At Adelaide, she won her first WTA Tour title without dropping a set in the whole tournament. She defeated Belinda Bencic in the final, in straight sets. As a result, she entered the top 15 for the first time in her career. In March 2021, seeded 15th, Świątek won her first career WTA 1000 title at the Italian Open, defeating former champion Karolina Pliskova in just 46 minutes without the loss of a single game. She advanced to the final after defeating two-time champion and world number 5, Alina Svitolina, and the second-best-ranked teenager Coco Gauff on the same day, as well as saving match points in her third-round match against Barbara Krejcikova. Świątek became the third player to win a title after saving match point en route in 2021, alongside Naomi Osaka at the Australian Open and Ashley Barty in Miami. She also became the fourth teenager to win a WTA 1000 event. This successful run to her third career title moved her into the top 10 in the singles rankings on May 17, 2021, as world No. 9. At the 2021 French Open, Świątek was seeded at number 8. She opened her title defense winning against Kaja Juvan in the first round, and then defeated Rebecca Peterson, Anett Kontaveit and Marta Kostyuk. She won 22 straight sets at the French Open but then lost in the quarterfinals to Maria Sakkari. In doubles, seeded 14th with Bethany Mattek-Sands as a pair, playing just their third event together, they reached the final where they were defeated by Barbara Krejcikova and Katina Siniakova in straight sets. As a result, Świątek reached the top 50 at a career-high ranking of number 42 in doubles for the first time in her career. She started her grass court season at the Eastbourne International where she was seeded at number 4. After defeating Heather Watson, she lost to Daria Kasatkina in the second round. As the 7th seed at Wimbledon, Świątek defeated Hsi Siwei, Vera Zvonareva, and Irina Camelia Begu, all in straight sets. In the fourth round, she lost to Ons Jabeur, in 3 sets. With her win over Anett Kontaveit in the third round of the US Open, she became the only player to have reached the second week of all 4 Grand Slam championships in the 2021 season. She qualified for the WTA Finals for the first time in her career. 2022, world number 1, 2 majors, 37-match winning streak. Świątek started her season at the 2022 Adelaide International in January, seeded 5th. After wins against Daria Saville, Leylah Fernandez, and Victoria Azarenka, Świątek lost to Ashley Barty in the semi-finals. She was scheduled to play at the 2022 Sydney International, seeded 6th, and her first match was scheduled to be against Emma Raducanu, but she pulled out of the tournament due to a rib injury. Świątek entered into the 2022 Australian Open, where she was seeded 7th. She defeated qualifier Harriet Dart in the first round, Rebecca Peterson in the second round and Daria Kasatkina in the third round. All wins were in straight sets. She reached her first Australian Open quarter-final after defeating Sorana Cîrstea in the fourth round. As of January 2022, Świątek has reached the second week of a Grand Slam at 6 consecutive majors, beginning with her 2020 French Open title, setting a record for the longest streak of second-week progressions. In the quarter-finals she defeated Kaia Kanepi in a match at 3 hours and 1 minute before losing to Danielle Collins in the semi-final the following day. In February, Świątek entered into the Qatar Total Open, where she was seeded 7th. She defeated Viktorija Golubic and Daria Kasatkina in the second and third rounds respectively. In the quarter-finals, she defeated top-seeded Aryna Sabalenka before advancing to the semi-finals where she played against Maria Sakkari, winning in straight sets. In the final, she won against fourth-seeded Anett Kontaveit, losing only 2 games, to claim her second WTA 1000 championship title. At Indian Wells, Świątek reached her third WTA 1000 final, where, as the third seed, she defeated Anhelina Kalinina, Clara Tauson, and Angelique Kerber in 3 sets, and Madison Keys and Simona Halep in straight sets. She defeated 6th seed Maria Sakkari in straight sets to win her 5th title. With the back-to-back Masters wins, Świątek reached a career-high ranking of World No. 2. The following week, Świątek was seeded 2nd at the Miami Open. Due to the retirement of reigning world number 1, Ashley Barty, on March 23, Świątek clinched the world number 1 singles ranking after her second-round victory over Viktorija Golubic. The new ranking was applied on April 4, after Barty was officially removed from the rankings. Świątek is the only Polish tennis player, male or female, to have ever held the number 1 ranking in singles, and the second Polish tennis player after Łukasz Kubot to hold a number 1 ranking in singles or doubles. She then advanced to the final without dropping a set, recording victories over Madison Bringel, 14th seed Coco Gauff, 28th seed Petra Kvitova, and 16th seed Jessica Pegula. She beat Naomi Osaka in the final, becoming the 4th as well as the youngest woman to complete the Sunshine Double and also the first woman to win the first 3 WTA 1000 events of the year. In April, Świątek participated at Stuttgart Open as the top seed after withdrawing from Charleston Open for a short time rest. She began by defeating Eva Liss and Emma Raducanu. In the semi-final, Świątek lost the first set in a tiebreak against Lyudmila Samsonova but came back to win the next 2 sets. It was a 3 hours and 3 minutes match that not only ended up being the longest of her career then, but ended her 28-set winning streak before reaching her 4th final of the season. In the final she played against the 3rd seed Aryna Sabalenka, winning in straight sets and claiming her 4th consecutive WTA title. However, in April 27, 2022, it was announced that Świątek pulled out of the Madrid Open due to her right shoulder injury. She said she will be taking a break to treat her arm, and will also be preparing for the upcoming Italian Open in Rome and French Open in Paris. After pulling out of Madrid, Świątek spent some time for intense training at Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. At the 2022 Italian Open as the defending champion she reached yet another WTA 1000 final, her 4th for the season, defeating Elena Gabriela Ruse, Victoria Azarenka, Bianca Andreescu, and Aryna Sabalenka. She also became the 7th player to reach 2 finals in Rome before turning 21. In the final she beat Ons Jabeur in straight sets to claim her 5th consecutive WTA title. She finished with a 28-match winning streak. As world number 1 entering the French Open, Świątek defeated Lesia Tsurenko, Alison Riske, and Danka Kovinic all in straight sets. In the 4th round she defeated Chinese teenager Zheng Qinwen in 3 sets, losing the first set despite having 5 set points and leads in both the set and the tiebreak. Świątek made the semi-finals defeating Jessica Pegula. She went one step further to reach the final by defeating Daria Kasatkina. In the final, Świątek conquered Coco Gauff and clinched her 2nd French Open title, losing 1 set en route. She became only the 10th woman to win multiple French Open singles titles in the Open era. Having just turned 21, Świątek was the 4th youngest player to triumph more than once in Paris after Monica Seles, Steffi Graf, and Chris Evert who were younger. She finished the tournament with a 35-match winning streak, matching the longest unbeaten streak since Venus Williams in 2000 and becoming the 8th woman in the Open era with 35 or more wins in a row. At Wimbledon, Świątek won her first and second round matches before losing to Alizé Cornet in straight sets in round 3. This ended her 37-match win streak, the longest such streak in the 21st century. At the Poland Open, she defeated compatriot Magdalena Frech in the first round before winning against Gabriela Lee in the second round. In the quarterfinals she was upset in 3 sets by the 5th seed Caroline Garcia, who went on to win the title. The defeat ended her 18-match winning streak on clay. Leading up to the US Open during the North American summer, Świątek early exited at Toronto and Cincinnati. She lost the third round to Haddad Maia and Madison Keys respectively. Entering the US Open, Świątek defeated Jasmine Paolini, the former champion Sloane Stephens, and Lauren Davis in a row. She reached the quarterfinals for the first time at this major and the third of the season, defeating Jule Niemeyer to become the first Polish woman to reach this level at this Grand Slam. Afterwards, she defeated 8th seed Jessica Pegula to reach the semi-finals for the first time in Flushing Meadows, followed by a defeat of 6th seed Irina Sabalenka and a straight sets victory in the final over Ons Jabeur. She is the first Polish woman to win the US Open, bringing her to a total of 3 major titles. At Ostrava Open, she reached the final after defeating Ajla Tomiljanovic, Kati McNally, and Ekaterina Alexandrova on the way. The win over Alexandrova was her 60th win of the season. In the final, she played the longest match of her career so far, lasting 3 hours and 16 minutes against Barbara Krejcikov, which she lost in 3 sets. The defeat also ended her 10 consecutive WTA Tour Finals win streak. It marked the first loss of the final in 2022 and the second one of her career. Subsequently, Świątek played at San Diego Open, defeating Zheng Qinwen, Coco Gauff, Jessica Pegula, and the qualifier Donna Vekic in the final, which made it her 8th title of the season. Świątek became the first player since Serena Williams to claim the most titles, to win the most matches and to achieve the most bagels in a year. Williams won 11 titles, 75 matches, and achieved 25 bagels in 2013. National representation. Junior competitions. Świątek represented Poland at the ITF World Junior Tennis Finals for 14 and under girls twice in 2014 and 2015. She won all of her matches in 2014 to lead Poland to a 9th place finish out of 16 teams. The following year, she helped Poland go undefeated in the round-robin stage to reach the semi-finals. Świątek moved up to the 16 and under Junior Fed Cup in 2016, where she played alongside Maja Kwialinska and Stefania Rogozynska-Jic. Poland won the title, defeating the United States 2-1 in the final. Świątek won both of her rubbers in the final tie, defeating Amanda Anisimova in singles before partnering with Kwialinska to defeat Kati McNally and Claire Liu in the decisive doubles rubber. The last event of Świątek's junior career was the 2018 Summer Youth Olympic Games. Although she lost in the quarterfinals in singles to Klara Burel, she partnered with Slovenian Kaja Jovan to win the gold medal in doubles. In the final they defeated Nato and Sato, who were also Świątek's opponents in the French Open doubles final earlier in the year. Billie Jean King Cup. Świątek made her senior Billie Jean King Cup debut in 2018 when Poland was in Europe/Africa Zone Group I. To advance out of this group, Poland needed to win their round-robin group, a playoff tie against one of the other round-robin group winners, and then another playoff tie as part of the separate World Group II playoff round. They did not win their round-robin group in 2018 or 2019. Świątek won her only singles match in 2018. While she only won one of her 3 singles matches in 2019, she won both of her doubles rubbers while partnering with Olegia Rosalska. The following year, the format was changed so that Poland only needed to finish in the top 2 out of 3 teams in their round-robin group to reach the promotional playoff. Nonetheless, they won their group and defeated Sweden 2-0 in the playoff to advance to the separate playoff round. Świątek won all 3 of her singles matches in the 2020 Europe/Africa Zone Group I round. Overall, Świątek has a 7-3 record at the Fed Cup, comprising 5-2 in singles and 2-1 in doubles. Playing style. Świątek has an aggressive, all-court style of play and incorporates a lot of variety into her game. Because her game style is focused on offense, she typically generates high amounts of both winners and unforced errors. She has described her style of play on clay as a big serve, topspin, and backhand down the line. Despite her aggressive style of play, she plays with margin, and constructs points carefully until she creates an opportunity to hit a winner, and in all 7 of her matches played at the French Open, she hit more winners than unforced errors. In total at the French Open, she hit 175 winners to 127 unforced errors. Her forehand and backhand are fast and powerful, with her forehand being hit with significant topspin due to her employing an extreme Western grip. On her run to the title at the French Open in 2020, Świątek's average forehand speed was 73 miles per hour, only 4 km per hour below that of the average male forehand speed. She even hit some forehands up to 79 miles per hour, the fastest of any female player in the draw. Her forehand topspin reached 3,453 rpm at the French Open, comparable with her idol Rafael Nadal. Świątek's backhand speed peaked at 76 miles per hour at the French Open, the fastest of any female player in the draw, and equal to Dominic Thiem's backhand speed. Thiem possessed the fastest backhand of any male player at the French Open. The New York Times has stated that Świątek has a phenomenal, elastic, sliding defense into the corners, often out of the near splits popularized by Kim Clijsters and Novak Djokovic. Sprinters' speed moving forward and heavyweight punching power and penetration off the ground with the topspin forehand like her role model Rafael Nadal. Świątek aims to come to the net, and has good volleying skills due to her doubles experience. Świątek possesses an accurate first serve, peaking at 114 miles per hour, and averaging at 103 miles per hour, allowing her to serve aces, dictate play from the first stroke, and win a majority of first serve points. She possesses an effective kick serve, and an effective slice serve, which are deployed as second serves, preventing opponents from scoring free points. She also regularly uses the drop shot, and won the 2019 WTA Shot of the Year with a cross-court drop shot from the baseline that landed on the sideline well inside the service box. Świątek aims to gain the advantage in a point by hitting the ball early on the rise. Further strengths include her exceptional speed, movement, and court coverage, detailed and intricate footwork, and intelligent point construction. Świątek is also notable for her positive mental attitude, calm demeanor, and composure under pressure, which has been credited to her work with sports psychologist Daria Abramovich. Indicative of her positive mindset, Świątek often yells "just when she wins a point, meaning "let's go," in English. Her favorite surface is clay, having grown up playing on that surface, although she has had success on all surfaces. Her clay court success is enhanced by her ability to slide on the surface. As her career has progressed, she has also developed the ability to slide on hard and grass courts. Świątek is a very popular player on the WTA Tour. She finished runner-up to Simona Halep in the voting for the WTA Fan Favorite Singles Player of the Year award in 2019. In 2020, she was voted the WTA Fan Favorite Singles Player of the Year. Coaching team. Świątek's primary coach in her early junior years was Michael Kasnowski, who she worked with up to the 2016 French Open. Jolanta Rusinkrspita was her physical preparation trainer for almost 4 years through the end of the 2019 US Open. Świątek was coached by Piotr Sierp-Putowski beginning in 2016. During the time Sierp-Putowski was her coach, British former professional tennis player and former Polish Davis Cup coach Nick Brown also served as a main consultant on occasion. Świątek also works with sports psychologist Daria Abramovich. In December 2021, IGA announced that she is splitting from coach Piotr Sierp-Putowski after nearly 6 years working together. This change is really challenging for me, and this decision wasn't easy, either. Świątek hired Sierp-Putowski as her coach in January 2016, when she was 15 and still playing in junior tournaments. Her current coach is Tomasz Wiktorowski, who previously coached Agnieszka Radwanska. Endorsements. Świątek has been sponsored by Asics for clothing since the start of 2020. She was previously sponsored by Nike. Świątek is also endorsed by the Red Bull Energy Drink Company, the Chinese tech giant Xiaomi and the Lexus division of the Toyota automaker company, the latter of which have also sponsored fellow Polish tennis player Agnieszka Radwanska. In 2021, Świątek signed an endorsement deal with Technofibra for rackets. She previously used a Prince Textreme 100 Tour racket, although she was not under contract with the company. To celebrate the victory at Roland Garros 2022 with a Technofibra racket and to recognize the female athlete, the company is changing its marketing name to Technofibra and its trademark to the colors white and red for 7 days. It was the first women's Grand Slam title for this manufacturer. Świątek's father also confirmed that she had also signed a contract with Rolex in 2021. Since February 2021, her main partner is Poland's biggest insurance company PZU. After winning her third Grand Slam title at the 2022 US Open, Świątek parted ways with her long-term manager, and began to be represented by IMG. Charity work and philanthropy. Since 2021, Świątek has been involved with the Great Orchestra of Christmas Charity. She has put up her winning racket from final of her first French Open. The racket ended up getting sold with the price of 131,300 ZL, which outpriced the signed Champions League winning kit of Robert Lewandowski. Money helped to fund new equipment for pediatric and otolaryngology and head diagnostics. In 2022, while playing at the Australian Open, she put up another racket, this time from final of Italian Open, but this time the offer also included training with the buyer. Besides the racket, Świątek also put her signed Tokyo Olympics 2020 kit, her signature cap and multiple tennis balls with autographs up for auction. Offer yet again was met with a lot of interest and in the end was sold for 189,100 ZL, which was second best seller. Money would help to fund equipment for pediatric ophthalmology. Świątek and her team have also been taking part in the Noble Gift project since 2020. It helps to provide families that have found themselves in difficult financial circumstances for reasons beyond their control during the Christmas period. Świątek also took part in auction for SOS Children's Villages Poland, putting up her autographed cap from Miami Open. In one of interviews, the teacher from Świątek's elementary school in Razin revealed that after winning her second French Open title, she pledged to help upgrade the school's sports facilities, among which was a single tennis court. She also donated the shirt she wore in the final, tennis balls and her cap to the school, all signed for auction to raise money for one of the students who needed urgent and expensive medical treatment. In November 2021, Świątek was announced in line-up for Africa Cares Tennis Challenge tennis exhibition in Johannesburg, which was aimed to not only promote tennis in South Africa but was to be used as a vehicle in the fight against gender-based violence through campaigns and activations leading up to the main event. Other players in the lineup included Simona Halep, Venus Williams, Sloane Stephens, and Martina Hingis. On November 30 it was announced event was cancelled due to concerns regarding growing amount of cases of COVID-19 infections. Advocating for mental health awareness. On October 10, 2021, Świątek donated $50,000 of her prize money in support of World Mental Health Day, after progressing to the last 16 of the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells. I would say in sports, for me, it was always important to use that kind of help because I always thought that in my mental toughness there is some strength that I can use on court and I can also develop in that manner, she said. After winning at the French Open in 2020, Świątek revealed that using her sports psychologist had helped her get over the line. It's just good to stay open-minded. If you need that kind of help, then go for it. If you're up to it and if you're open-minded, I think it helps a lot, Świątek added. In her runner-up speech after losing the final to Barbara Krejcikova on Agil's Ostrava Open on October 9, 2022, Świątek announced she will donate all of her prize money won in the tournament to Polish non-profit organizations and foundations to celebrate World Mental Health Day. This is the most difficult moment of this tournament for me. I do not know what to say. Thank you so much. Whether I win or not, I am fulfilling my dreams, and you with me. I wish I won cause I would be able to donate more, but I would like to announce that I will donate my prize money to non-profit organizations in Poland on Monday, which is World Mental Health Day. I hope this money can help a lot of people and make some change. Support of Ukraine. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Świątek has often worn ribbons or other accessories in Ukrainian colors, and on several occasions has publicly declared her support for Ukraine in her winter speeches. On July 23, 2022, Świątek hosted a charity tennis event in Krakow, Poland to raise funds for children and teenagers impacted by the war in Ukraine. The one-day event featured a mixed doubles exhibition match and a set of singles between Świątek and Agnieszka Radwanska. Ukraine football great Andriy Shevchenko was a special guest. Alina Svitolina of Ukraine served as umpire for the event. Świątek stated, "I hope that we can see each other in large numbers in Toruń Arena Krakow and in front of the television to show the strength of sport when it unites us in helping and gives us at least a little joy." Świątek later announced on Twitter that the event has raised over 2.5 million zloty, which would be spread between United 24, Alina Svitolina Foundation and UNICEF Poland. On August 10, Świątek has been announced as the part of lineup for Tennis Plays for Peace exhibition, which took place on August 24 with other numerous current and former tennis stars like Rafael Nadal, Carlos Alcaraz, Coco Gauff, John McEnroe, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Matteo Berrettini, Maria Sakkari and many others. 100% of the proceeds going to Global Giving, the international non-profit identified by Tennis Plays for Peace. Personal life. Świątek is a cat lover and owns a black female cat named Grappa. She enjoys reading novels and listening to music. Before her matches, she listens to rock music, especially Pearl Jam, Pink Floyd, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and AC/DC. In her spare time, she listens to alternative music, jazz, soul, and pop. She is also a fan of Taylor Swift. In an interview with Tennis Channel, she described Mikaela Shiffrin as a really good role model. She also mentioned she's a fan of actress Sandra Bullock and her films. Besides being a successful sportswoman, Świątek was always known as excellent and diligent student in primary and high school. Despite her tour schedules, she always studied during the tournaments before coming back to school in person to pass the tests. Świątek, before her success at the French Open in 2020, had finished her high school with excellent results in her high school leaving examination, better known as egzamin maturalny, with 83% for Polish at basic level, 100% for English at basic level, 96% for advanced English and 100% for mathematics. She also admitted that she would like to go to university and study something related to mathematics later in life. Świątek is a known book lover on WTA Tour. For every tournament she usually brings different books from Agatha Christie, George Orwell, and Alexander Dumas to more classic books like Wuthering Heights or The Great Gatsby. She openly admits that books help her concentrate on tournaments and help her to not use her phone for longer than needed. On December 4, 2021, Justice Agama of the Federal High Court of Nigeria sentenced Olugbunga Ogunrinda to 10 months in prison for impersonating Świątek in a correctional center over $300 cyber fraud. The prosecutor revealed that intelligence obtained from Ogunrinda's email address indicated that he had been operating as Świątek and using her name and fame to scam money from foreigners. Career statistics and records. Grand Slam tournament performance timelines. Singles. Doubles. Grand Slam tournament finals. Singles, 3. Doubles, 1. Records.